can all join palms and repeat after me. I take refuge in the Buddha.
I take refuge in the Buddha.
I take refuge in the Dharma.
I take refuge in the Dharma.
I take refuge in the Sangha.
I take refuge in the Sangha.
Keeping the palms joined. Put the palms down. All right, good evening, everybody. Nice to see you all here, back at it. Yeah, I did a talk earlier today, meditation and discussion on forgiveness at it's a place called the V in La Jolla, and it's a beautiful space for the young kids to live and grow younger. I'd say the average age there was probably 75 to 80, which isn't that far off from a lot of people we see around here as well, so I have to be very careful how I speak here. But they were fun. And it was also, in a way, kind of, I wouldn't call it sad. I mean, I've sat with them for a long time and that population a long time. But, you know, if you're 80 years old and you've been really angry about something since you were 30, that's 50 years of carrying that anger. So think about in your life, whatever stage you're at, how long you've been holding on to things that you're angry about. And ask yourself, however many years from now, do you still want to be angry? Because with this group, and I mean, it was from 3 to 4, an hour back traffic, and so it's just very fresh in my mind. And for me, in a space like that, I share meditation, but I'm not really there. I mean, I approach it really no different than here, but I'm not there to like teach them anything. I'm there to just facilitate thoughts, discussion, insight into what they're sitting with, and create container, space, opportunity for people who carry tremendous anger, and allow them to explore that. So it was as much, if not more, them speaking than myself, and I was just kind of triggering and feeding them things to look at. So again, I asked the question for you to ponder: if you're tremendously angry about things, whatever it might be at this stage of your life, just ask yourself, how long do you want to be that way? Because it doesn't just magically go away on its own. You know, the people there that are 80 years old and they were angry at 30, they didn't, I'm sure, imagine they would be holding on to that for 50 years. And then 50 years passed and boom, you know, there it is. So being able to face that is important, being able to explore why it's there. all the Buddhist teachings around the cause of suffering, greed, anger, ignorance, it's all right there. It was cute to hear some of them say, person they hurt 50 years ago probably forgot about them a long time ago. And then that led into that was really triggered and then led into the discussion about the self-compassion and the anger and hatred that we have towards ourselves. So try to use this path and this practice of meditation and kind of exploring Buddhist teachings and the kind of the inner workings of your own mind to really see like, wow, what's going on there? And then how can I begin to make some changes so we don't keep carrying that stuff with us? So, yeah. So we'll start with a meditation practice. For those who are new and for those who are joining us virtually, I'm glad you're here. I think we have an extreme close-up of like half of my face right now virtually, so that's kind of funny. That's why I was a little bit messed with this, and I sat down. It's a little odd. It's like from here down on the screen right now. So y'all can't see that, but I do. A couple things to tell you before we begin. Nothing's going to happen to you. You're not going to float away. You're not going to have any mystical, magical experiences. The mind that races all day long is not going to shut off. Don't judge your practice, meaning don't ask yourself, is this working or not working? Are you doing it right or wrong? We're just going to sit. We're going to breathe. You'll hear sounds inside, sounds outside. This is life. Life is filled with chaos, and this practice is learning to get quiet and still within all of the chaos. Posture. You want to be comfortable. If you're on a cushion, often it helps. Slide into the front third. Pushing the stomach forward allows the back to straighten. Same thing if you're on a bench or chair, however you're seated. Just trying to sit up straight. Relaxing the shoulders. Hands can be on the knees or lap, whatever's comfortable. If you are new to this practice, you're not trying to empty your mind. You're not trying to stop your thoughts. You're going to continue to think. I will say things periodically to either wake you up because you've fallen asleep or remind you that you're lost in thought and bring you back to the present moment. I will guide us as we begin, and we'll settle into a little bit of silence. And starting with the eyes closed if comfortable, or slightly open. Mouth is open or closed. We'll start with taking 3 deep breaths, slowly. And eventually, you'll settle into a natural rhythm of the breath. And throughout the practice, you'll hear sounds. These are not distractions, not disruptions. Simply what's happening around us as we sit. Noticing the mind as it wanders, jumping from thought to thought. Start with gently guiding the attention, focus to the stomach or chest. Breathing in, feel them rise. Breathing out, they fall. Simply continue this practice, observing sensation of breath. As the mind wanders, lost in thought, recognize it. Release that thought. Return attention, focus to the breath. Letting go of expectations. Letting go of judgments of the practice. Just sitting, breathing. Keeping the mind alert. Aware of each sound. Each thought. Each physical sensation. Yet concerned with nothing but sitting, breathing. And with the body still and rested, and the speech quiet, aware of all sounds, and the mind learning to settle. Know what it's like to just sit and breathe. Knowing with each breath, there's nothing else to do. Nowhere else to go. And no one else to be. everything beautiful, exactly as it is. Sitting, breathing. Once again, taking 3 deep breaths, slowly. As you slowly open the eyes, slowly beginning to move. Most important with the practice of meditation is to recognize how you feel now, immediately after. Compare this to how you typically feel throughout your day. Recognize the difference, if there is one. Ask yourselves how you prefer to feel every day for the rest of your life. And realize every feel now, if it's quiet, calm, and still, or a busy mind, racing mind, whatever you're sitting with at this moment, has nothing to do with anything I said. It's nothing to do with how we sit and hold the hands or cross the legs. It's nothing to do with the sounds around us or anything else for that matter. It has everything to do with your own mind and your own mind's reaction to an external condition. This is what the Buddha called pratitya samuppada, means dependent origination. This is the basis of the Buddha's awakening. The word Buddha simply means awakening. He was a human being, no different than any one of us, who began to understand why he suffered, why he got angry, sad, depressed, stressed, anxious. He began to understand the causal relationship of all phenomena. What that means, very simply, for all of us, regardless of where you come from or what you believe in or where you think you're going, your whole life is filled with things that happen. You react. More stuff happens, more reactions. That's it. This practice is simply learning what it's like to respond to something quietly, peacefully, still. Because for most of us, the way you responded to the last 20 minutes is quite different from how you respond every other 20-minute period of your day. And so all we're working on is closing the gap where the way you feel now is closer to how you feel always. Just as driven, motivated, productive, successful. Whatever that means to you in your respective lives. But with a mind that's steady, clear, focused, distracted by nothing, disturbed by no one. This is what it means to train the mind. Meditation is not the escape. If your life is a crazy, hectic, stressed out mess, meditation won't fix that. It'll help you become aware of why your life is such a mess so you can then begin to make changes. But it's a practice. It takes time. It's not a quick fix. Meditation is free. Buddhist practice is free. It's figuring out how to be kinder and gentler to yourself and everybody you encounter every moment of your life. And that's why it's so easy. We just have to run around and be nice to people, starting with ourselves. Training the mind to be present is incredibly difficult, but it's also completely changing the way we've been most of our lives, which is wrapped up in the past, which is filled with anger and sadness and depression and resentments and regrets and mistakes. We've all actually done a few good things in our lives too, so please don't forget about those, but most of you aren't here because you're focused on all the good stuff in your life. If you spend all day long thinking about all the good things in your life, nobody would show up here anymore. And that'll be quite fine with me. I hope I sit down one day and there's just nobody here. That'd be great, you know? So, and when we finish roaming through our entire past history of all the stuff, then we jump to the future, all the worries, the stresses, the anxieties, the concerns. What are they going to think about me? What about this? What about that? How do I do this? How do I do that? What's my whole life going to look like? What's family going to think? What are my friends going to say? Doesn't that just get exhausting? So training the mind is helping you cut through all that. Because in this moment, you're just sitting and breathing. And then you learn to do that in every moment. And you drop the story that you're so attached to, or that others have dropped on you, or that you've lived. That's all done. So, time to go forward in whatever way that means for you. So I'll pause there. We'll open up to questions. For me, I really just prefer to respond to questions, meditation, Buddhist practice, anything you're sitting with. For all of you joining virtually, again, welcome. Feel free, there's a chat box somewhere on your screen. Feel free to put any questions or thoughts there, and I'll do my best to respond. So, questions?
So I've been coming here for 6 months now, and one thing I've found, well, there are many things. One thing that stands out to me in my practice is I have trouble befriending the present moment. How do I befriend the present moment? How do we make the present moment less scary, I guess?
Yeah, good question. Just to repeat it for those who maybe didn't hear, you've been coming here maybe 6 months, and one of the things you've learned from this practice is, and realized, I should say, really from the way you asked that question, is you're recognizing that the present moment is scary for you. And your question is around how to befriend the present moment, right? The first thing that comes to mind is very often, and it's funny because I've been doing this a long time, and in 20 years, I don't think I've had anybody ask like how to become friends with the present moment. Usually it's the fear of the future, the anger of the past, and the escaping of the present moment. But what you're asking is really how to be okay with the present moment, and not even just be okay with it, but not be afraid of it. And all I've done to this point is really just retell your question. So hope that's helped so far. But where I was going with that is that usually what happens is people are afraid of the future and they're worried about the future. And that fear of the future can create so much tension and stress and anxiety that we have actually like reeled it in to be with us in every moment. And so the other thing you've learned in the last 6 months is I'm really good at not answering questions at all. But what I'll throw out to you as a possibility is that to me it seems almost impossible to be afraid of the present moment unless you're bringing all of the anxiety, all the fear, all of the worry that you have about future into each moment. So you're actually not even seeing the present moment. You're seeing the present moment through the lens, through the perception, through the eyes of somebody who's just scared of future, of everything. Again, no answers. But what I'm getting at is I don't know what I would suggest to explore maybe in your next 6 months is it really the present moment that you're afraid to befriend, or is it that you're just so worried about the future that you just don't want to see present moment, or you're not allowed to see present moment? It's like, you're looking in the mirror, but the mirror is foggy and it's not allowing you to be present with anything because you're bringing so much into it. If you're sitting in meditation and you're here and all you're doing is staring at that Zafu right there, right? There's nothing to be afraid of unless you think the Zafu is going to get up and like attack you. It's another thing I've never seen is meditation cushions attack people. But that's all that's present in this moment is you sitting, breathing, staring at a cushion. So I can't imagine why one would be afraid of that unless there's a lot more going on that you're bringing to the present moment. Yeah. And if you ask that next time, I'll give you a completely different answer, and then you'll have two choices to see which one maybe works for you. Yeah. Hope that's helpful. Other questions? Yeah.
So for maybe like the last week or so, I feel like this happens every once in a while. I just wake up, it's like cranky and irritable for seemingly no reason at all. Like I'm trying to figure it out, and I'm like, what's the deal? Why am I in a bad mood? I have no reason to be. And then I got on Facebook the other day and saw you posted something that said you have a choice to wake up and be angry and mad, or you have the choice to wake up and choose happiness. And I was like,
Yeah.
I got mad at you. I was like, is it really that easy, Jeff? And
apparently not if you got mad at me for sharing that.
I was like, come on.
But I appreciate the vulnerable expression of your misery,
To know that I'm mad at you silently on my screen.
Right.
But yeah, just like, where does that easiness come in to just choose happiness? Like,
it's hard.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really not much different,
Right.
The questions are really addressing the same thing, which is, for me, learning to just choose happiness in each moment still requires the mind to consciously select what thoughts we're going to go down. What thought patterns, what stories, what are we going to focus on? And for me, Buddhist teachings on just having gratitude and appreciation. You know, if you wake up and you're in a cranky, miserable mood, then it's like, okay, well, I can be in a terrible mood, or I can just stop and appreciate the fact that I woke up. Because there's people who won't wake up tomorrow. You know, we don't know that we're going to wake up tomorrow. I mean, I hope we all do, but we don't know that we will. And it, on one hand, yes, it's so simple. You know, when you brush your teeth, you make a choice. You go into the bathroom, wherever you are, to brush your teeth, right? You got a toothbrush here, and you have a hairbrush over here. You're going to brush your teeth. Which one are you going to pick up? Simple choice, toothbrush. Choosing happiness or choosing misery, it's the same choice. It's the mind saying, I'm going to go this way and pick up the toothbrush. Because why would I brush my teeth with my hairbrush? That would be weird and gross and probably not clean. And, you know, I'm like literally imagining toothpaste on the, like the bristles of a brush. And then, you know, how would that even work? Like, to me, choosing to have gratitude and appreciate what you have is the same thing. Like, again, and most of you know this, I spent years choosing anger and depression and misery. And what I have learned through this practice over the years is that it is as simple as a choice, like picking up the toothbrush. I'm going to choose to find gratitude and appreciation for all that I have in my life, as opposed to choosing to focus on what I'm pissed off at, or what I don't like, or what I'm angry at, or that just nonsense stuff. And the reality, and I never like to think or speak for anybody, but in so many cases, there are heavy things going on in the world, you know, in our lives, trauma, a lot of, you know, big challenges, hurdles. But I've found that in most cases, the things that just put people in bad moods all day long are just nonsense. They're like silly, stupid little things, you know? Again, I'm not referring to you, but just, you know, the traffic, the person driving in front of you, your latte being made the wrong way, you know, the stranger who looked at you the wrong way, the customer service person who didn't answer your question properly, like all of these just little things that literally mean absolutely nothing drive us crazy all day long. And then we want to know how to handle like real trauma, real difficulties, real challenges, you know, but we're still pissed off because this vehicle got in front of me when I was in my lane. They had no right to be there. Right, Dave? I just the huge grin in the back there. So it is a simple choice. But what we have to remember is somebody taught you to brush your teeth when you were, I don't know what, 3, 4, 5 years old, right? So you've been doing that with a toothbrush every single day. Nobody taught you to brush your teeth with a hairbrush. They taught you to brush your teeth with the toothbrush, and it's become a habit. You had to train yourself to do that. Choosing happiness is you have to train yourself the same way. If you had no idea how to brush your teeth, and they just walked you into the bathroom and said, brush your teeth, maybe you pick up the toilet paper. So you got to learn. You know, we all do. And then it's just a practice until it becomes habit, until it becomes the only choice there is, just like the toothbrush. So you can still be mad at me. What else?
How often are you meditating for somebody that would consider themselves, you know, a beginner? I've been instructed by somebody that I trust and I'm putting faith in he wants me to do a meditation the morning, meditation at night, prayer in the morning, prayer at night. It's very ritualistic, and it becomes almost like homework, and it becomes something I don't want to do, and it's a struggle for me. It's only been like 2 weeks of it, but I've missed a couple days, and I feel it too, though. I think it's the shame or guilt I feel for not doing it, which kind of convolutes the whole thing.
Yeah. In fact, everyone in here is really disappointed in you for missing a couple days. What's your name?
Zach.
Zach, it's your first time here? Yeah. Are we all angry at Zach for missing a couple? Because everyone in here has done this 5 times a day for 20 minutes a day. Every day since they've ever been here. And you, my friend, are failing miserably.
Feel it.
You feel it, right? That sucks. So here's the thing, Zach. I'm going to be just like one other person who tells you what they think. And let me start by saying this. If 100 people lead you in meditation, they're going to lead you 100 different ways. None of them necessarily right or wrong, good or bad. If they tell you to, go do stupid stuff and, charge you lots of money, then I'd probably find somebody else to lead you in meditation, right? If they tell you that their way is the way and the only way, then definitely go find somebody else to learn from, right? Here's what I'm going to suggest. And you made it easier for me. Usually I give examples, but you said homework. I don't know about you, but anyone here really like homework growing up, right? I didn't like homework, right? I didn't do homework. That's how I ended up sitting here, but that's another story. If somebody tells you to do meditation 20 minutes a day, twice a day, every day, the chances of you doing that are about 0% consistently. Now, if somebody tells you to do this 5 minutes a day, goes up to like 0.1%, right? What I suggest you do is do the meditation practice no longer than 5 minutes every day. And if you don't have the 5 minutes, do it for 3 minutes. If you don't have the 3 minutes, do it for 1 minute. If you don't have 1 minute, take 3 deep breaths. And if you skip all of that, so what? But what I'm hearing you tell me is that you're actually disappointed in yourself because you're not following what some person told you to do around meditation. This isn't an attack on the person. I'm trying to help you realize that meditation should not be the thing that we judge ourselves by. My guess is also, if you're here, you've spent enough time judging